is what you got for me.
Durag Diaries, yo, what's good, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Tottenham Transfer News Show. You guys know what time it is by now. Everything Tottenham, everything transfers. And this is the last one. This is the last one of the window. We had deadline day yesterday, and we now have the long-awaited transfer review show. But before we get into any of that, rating the transfers, 1 through 10, we're going to do it individually. Then we'll do it as a whole. And then we'll go through some of the transfer windows. Is this one of our best windows we've had in a long time? Come to the chat, see what you guys are saying. And yeah, man, just do an overall review of where we are at. And do you know what? Like I said, I think people can be a bit more cool-headed about it. We can sit back, we can reflect, and we can look at it in hindsight a bit more now because, deadline day's over. We know we're not getting a left winger, so we don't have to keep focusing on the left winger. We just focus on what we have, and we're going to be speaking about overall our thoughts on that. Make sure, though, when you come in here, you are checking in the right way. You're smashing the like button on your way in. Don't take a second and it don't cost you a thing. And make sure you also are go into that pinned comment and tap in the link because we need some new descendants in the building. We need some new descendants and delinquents. So if you tap that link, become a descendant, become a delinquent, you can join the Royal Navy. Yeah? You can do one of them once. Make sure, tap the link to become a member. And if you cannot see, if you cannot recognize, we now have a channel sponsorship. Make sure you guys are showing some love to the first channel sponsor, Match Bingo. Scan the QR code next to me in this area, and you guys can play some games, have some fun during the match, especially during this international where they have special offers on certain games. And you buy a bingo card, and the first person to get their bingo card filled out wins a huge jackpot, usually of £500, sometimes £1,000, sometimes more. So make sure you scan that QR code, promo code DRD to get a 200% depository bonus. And yeah, man, make sure you guys are supporting the sponsors because, hey, as you can see, we're a bit different now. In the transfer window, we now got a sponsor. And yeah, man, look, some people say George's gone corporate. Some people saying I've been infiltrated. I may have the brown envelopes. I may have been brown enveloped. I'm just saying, I may have been brown enveloped, people. But look, make sure you are supporting them. And yeah, man, look, I'm gonna come to the chat, see what the people are saying. Good morning to everyone. The sun's out, shining. It's looking all right today. How's everyone reflecting on this transfer window? Is everybody happy? Who's not happy? Let us know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. For your team, innit? Not just Spurs, just in general. Big up to Ghosted in the building. Big up George. Good morning to my guy Mustafa. Come on, man. What do you rate? Lange, Paratici window out of 10. Muani, Simone. We're gonna go right through that, Mustafa. We're gonna go right through all of that. As he says here, Ghosted, man, smash the likes on the way in. I've seen more clips of Kolo Muani. He's got serious dribbling ability. They'd say he's a dribbler. He's a dribbler, man. He's good with the ball at his feet. I'm not gonna lie. But big up to you, my guy Jay. We got man like Ben Bryant in the building. Big up to Ben Bryant. That's exactly what I said, Mustafa. In my video, I broke it down, and even yesterday with Ash and Elijah, very similar to Nico Jackson. Very similar. And he misses chances like Nico Jackson. So he might be just as frustrating, but we're going to have to see. Man like Chills in the building. Odebert Rise, trust me. That's one thing that this transfer window has shown us. That we now, for the next 6 to 12 months, are going to have to put a lot of faith in the Tells, in the Odeberts. And do you know what? We're going to go through how these lineups can be lined up as well, because yeah, there's many different options, many different ways to skin a cat. And I'm going to have to see all those ways before I decide which way is the best one. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't really have any confidence in any of those wingers at the moment that they're going to grab the role and really make it their own. So let's see. You know, he's got to try different players and different times. And over the next month, we've got a lot of games coming up, 2 games a week. I think a lot of players are going to get opportunities. Good morning to Karma. Morning, Jordan chat. I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope you do too, Karma. Big up, Jordan chat. Big up to Tony Rodriguez in the building. Tony's put his one in nice and early, but you know what? I'll save that. I'm gonna anybody that puts in their chat, their rating. Anybody that puts in their rating for the window, I'll simply star it and I'm gonna save it when we get round to that. So don't think I'm ignoring. I'm gonna come round to it and I'll read them out as we get round to that topic. George's going to be talking differently now. Sponsors watching. Nah. The sponsors are here to support. They support me. And there's no talking different, man. We're still the same over here. Obviously, they're just... look. I ain't been told I can't say anything. And I don't think I say anything mad anyway, apart from diss some players. But hey, that's part and parcel of the game. You know what I mean? So... we'll have to see, but man, like Hooks, big up Hooks for the raid every single time. Half-time Krillin raid, massive Krillin. Half-time, big up Hooks for the raid. Your window's shut, your window's shit. Kolo Muani, your window is... Someone's got a lot of energy. If you think Kolo Muani's our window is shit, then sure. I mean, as I said, you guys have to win the league. So if you don't do that, it's a major failure. We don't need to win the league. We didn't do a window like you did. You signed 8 players. You signed 4 first-team players. Like, you've spent 300 million or whatever it is. The pressure's on you. Pressure's not on me, man. It's not on me. You know that way is there. Like, I'm calm. I'm cool, collected. My manager will see us through. And you know what's interesting? We're going to see, innit? We're both playing Champions League. So we get to see our team compete at the highest level. And there'll be a good way to see where they're at. So we'll see. We will see. Samana, waka, 50 million down the drain. Kolo scores again. We didn't spend no money. It's a good song, but we didn't spend no money. So who's the 50 million down the drain? Hey, don't let Kolo get more goals than Gyökeres. Don't let him. Don't let him. I'm not saying he will, but just don't let him, because that would be rather embarrassing. That would be rather embarrassing. I'm just saying. A lone player, you know. I don't fall in love with lone players. And I don't think this will be the first one that I will anyway. So I'm pretty cool. Like, we're going to go through the players individually. Real soon. And you know what we'll do? We'll compare our players, because, you know, we love a little data remby. We'll go through our signings and compare them to the players that we currently have, just so we can look at them against our current squad, and we can look at the data, because we've done so much data for all the potential signings. Let's do the data for our actual squad of players that we have. So let's see that there as well. Where should we start? Where should we start this? First, should we start with the signings in order? Should we go first signing, then build our way up? How should we do this, guys? I'm just trying to think. We can go first signing, like from Kudus. And do you know what? First of all, I need to know from you guys, am I including Tel and Danso into this transfer window? I'm Plastic Killer. Please just do it out of 10. 5 out of 7 is so weird. What does that even mean? Do a rating out of 10 for me, bro. Do a rating out of 10. Okay. Bango's saying no. Nah, okay. That's my fault. That was my fault. But I just wanted to make sure, because, you know, some people might come in the chat halfway through and say, but Tel and Danso was signed. We signed Tel and Danso too. I wanted to clarify, you know, how we're going to get this done from nice and early. I wanted to get out of the way. So, fine. No Tel and Danso into this. So with our signings, that makes it Kudus, Palhinha, Simons, Kolo Muani, Takai, Is it those 5? Am I missing anyone? I don't know why I feel so slow today. I'm definitely not missing no one. It's definitely just those 5. Definitely just those 5. So, do you know what? Let's start off with Takai. Let me get Takai out of the way nice and quick. Let's rate this. What should we rate Takai, people? We're going to go with Takai's rating to be 6 out of 10 signing. 6 out of 10 signing. This is a player who comes in with not that much experience. You know, he's played at the top level in Japan. He's young. He's only signed for 5 million. He's got a lot of upside, but at the same time, don't really know much about him. I'm only going to do a 6 out of 10 signing simply because I don't think it's a bad signing, but I don't think it's a good signing. I think it's like, meh. Let's wait to find out what he can become. For the money invested, I think it leans more towards potentially being a good signing in the future because there's all risk has been averted of him potentially being a flop. There's no way you can be a flop as a £5 million signing. So the expectation is extremely low. So that's why I'm going to say a 6 out of 10 because for what he brings to Tottenham, he's going to be a centre-back that's like, what, 6th option? Like, we might not even see him play for a year or two. So I don't think it took time out of our window to sign him. I don't think that it affected our window with the money that it was spent. So I just have to look at it and be like, do you know what? This is a 6 out of 10 signing. 6 out of 10 signing. Nothing to it. Let's see how it plays out. £5 million. Extremely, extremely low risk. So with Takai, let's just go there, innit? Start off there, nice and easy. £5 million signing, 6 out of 10 for Takai. And then onwards from him, I think we should go to the other loan player, or the first loan player. And that will be man like João Palhinha, who for me has had a good time in the Spurs shirt so far. I think in the 3 or 4 games that we've seen him, PSG, Bournemouth, Burnley, Man City, he was class. In the PSG game, in the City game, he was class. Now against Bournemouth, I think he done a pretty decent job. I think we struggled mainly in the build-up, not because of him, but because of the players that played ahead of him in Sarr, Johnson, and Richarlison. We couldn't really progress the ball. So I don't think that's a fault of his own. I think that was a fault of the tactics, but also a fault of just the team and the setup that we went with. I think that on a loan signing and potentially with the option / obligation to buy around 25 to 30 million, I think this is a great signing. I said before we sign him, this should be a player we should go for. He brings experience, he brings maturity, he brings some leadership qualities to the team. Something that we don't have at this moment, or something that we was missing with a few of our senior players heading out of the team, and you know, our mainstays and the players you would expect to be involved in that, in a Maddison or Kulu potentially, both injured for a very long time. So when you look at it like that, I think Palhinha comes into the team and brings us exactly what we don't have: the profile of a 6, a destroyer, somebody who can sweep up in the midfield. He eats up ground. He honestly eats up ground, but more than anything, he breaks up the play. He frustrates midfields and he frustrates teams because it's hard to play around a player that's constantly going to foul, constantly going to break it down, constantly running, tackling, intercepting. And in just the short time that we've seen him, we've seen an improvement in his game. I still feel like Thomas Frank said, there's levels to go up. And I think as he plays throughout another month of the season, another 2 months, we're going to see him hit peak fitness and really start to push on and be one of the top midfielders in this squad, but not just in this squad, in the league, in his position. Now, I do think that he could work on his actual passing and his overall ability to just play the ball around in the midfield. But again, I do think that he's a really, really good midfielder. And what he brings to Spurs' squad is so many qualities that we didn't have. So for me, it's an 8 out of 10 signing. It's got to be an 8 out of 10 signing. Or do you know what? I think it might be a 9 out of 10. I think this might be a 9 out of 10 signing. Everybody before the window screamed, we need a 6. we need a 6. We said this all the time under Ange Postecoglou. We got our 6. We got a destroying 6. We got a proven one that if we signed last year, before he went to Bayern, Spurs picked up Paulinho for 45 mil, 50 mil. Nobody would have batted an eyelid. Nobody would have been like, wow, you're paying too much. We're potentially getting the guy for half of that price just a year later, or after not even a bad season, after a non-existent season at Bayern. This is a top signing. And yes, he's 30 years old. He is a bit older. He's pushing on. But he's a type of player that can play till he's 32, 33 because he's fit, he's got the legs, and I don't expect to see him break down that quick. He's a DM. I don't think we're going to see his body break down in him that quick. So I expect us to get a good... We will definitely sign him next window, next summer. We will definitely sign him. I think if he has a very strong season. And then I can see him playing another season at Spurs before potentially moving on. But all we need from a guy like this is a 2 to 3 seasons. We need 2 to 3 very strong seasons out of him. And that'll be fine by me. That'll be fine. You know, £25 million invested into a player that gives you 2 to 3 strong seasons. And then we move on into the new guard, which will potentially be Sarr and Archie Gray. And whichever it is, or we go out there and get Belabor Wharton type midfielder, whichever way we like to do it. Like people say that there's multiple ways to skin a cat. You know, that's what people love to say. There's multiple ways to provide the solution to the problem that Paulinho is going to get old and phased out. We don't expect him to be here long. And for the money invested, very, very good sign. I'm going to lock it in at I'm going to do an 8 out of 10 because I think a 9 I need to see a superstar. But I'm going to do an 8 out of 10 signing. 8 out of 10 signing for me. Do you know what? We're going up a 9. Sorry, I know I'm being indecisive. We're going to a 9. 9 out of 10 signing Paulinho. Just because he was exactly the profile and type of player we needed in our squad. So when you talk about does it check a box, it does. It checks that box. It checks a few boxes. So 9 out of 10 signing Paulinho. 9 out of 10 for me. Let me know what you guys are saying in the chat. I've got a few 8s. We got 8 out of 10. We got 8 out of 10. We got a 0. Ro McCoy. I don't know about that. A 0. Someone's being harsh. Someone's being extremely harsh. But hey, if that's what you want to go with, that's fine. Everybody's allowed their own. 8 out of 10 from Jay. That's what I love to see. Durag Diaries. Finally, not delusions. You know what I mean? Big up to Kenga's in the building. We need to start to investigate Lounge for fraud. Man said 8 out of 10. We need a left back. Whoa. Hey, Kenga's. You got to listen, bro. You got to listen. I never said the window is 8 out of 10. We're ranking signings right now. We will get round to the overall window ranking later in the show. Slow down. Roll your horses, son. Slow your horses. Generally look like a lank. No. I think people are over exaggerating that Bournemouth game, and I think people are over analyzing. Shout out to my guy D, but people are starting to over analyze. People are starting to over analyze the Bournemouth game and think it is something that it wasn't. Bournemouth had a very good game, but the solutions to the problem in that game are very much in our squad. They're very much in our squad, and I'll talk to you guys about that. People are never pleased, man. It's a good window. Facts, Ledoux. And do you know what, yeah? Jay, do you know what? We're going to get onto that because me and you agree on a lot of things. I know Jay has got a level head. Jay's got a level head. So me and Jay are... You're concentrating. Do you know, again, I think in the moment, everyone's allowed to be emotional. It might have been underwhelmed. And I was underwhelmed, Kenny. But I was underwhelmed because I thought I was getting a top left winger. That's the only reason why. But do you know what it is, yeah? Look, there's a fine balance between Spurs going out there and just wrapping up a left winger like Lookman for 40 million. But then we have to stick with Lookman for 2 years. Spurs may have, and it seems to be this way because that's what Frank said. Frank made it very clear that we do not want to sign players that don't want to come to us and players that do not fit for the team. We want quality players that have a long-term vision or long-term future at Spurs rather than just picking up players for the now. Obviously, Kolo Muani is a stopgap, but the reason that we've made that stopgap signing, and it's perfectly, we'll go into the Kolo Muani deal now. We're going to Kolo Muani, the other lone player. The reason why this is a stopgap, or we've signed him as a stopgap, because Solanke's injury and Richarlison's injury prone. So we need another player that can play in the 9. Otherwise, we would have been forced to recall that of Will Lancashire or start to play Dane Scarlett, who has now stayed with the squad, pending a potential move to, I don't know, Eredivisie or one of the other markets that are still open. But he is a player who brings something different to our front line. Like people would know. I know not many of you are watching me back in January, but I know there's some people in here. Mustafa Kengi's maybe one of them. I don't know. J Spurs is definitely one of them, I think. Big up to Caden though. Still ain't recovered from that shit show at Palace. Aye, bro. I want to get onto that, but we're gonna focus on Tottenham. But I do want to get onto your stuff because we've got to talk about some of the outgoings as well in it. So we'll get there. Where was that? But Kolo Muani, yes. Kolo Muani. So for me, when you look at a signing, it's a loan. Again, straight loan. Frodizio got mudded instantly because he was the only person that said there was an option in the deal. And everybody else come out instantly to say there is no option in this deal. Spurs do not retain an option to sign him because I believe that there was a differential in the fee that Spurs wanted to pay. PSG want a 50 million euro guaranteed or option. And I don't think we think he's worth 50 million euro. So I think we just said, you know what, we'll take him on a straight loan. End of the season, we'll see if we can negotiate better terms and we'll see if he's going to be a 50 million euro worth player. Because it is, it's a little, I'd say it's a bit of money. It's quite a bit. It is quite a bit of money. So with this player, Kolo Muani, what he brings to us is something, again, like Palhinha, different to what we currently have to our options. Similar, I suppose, to Solanke and Richarlison. He's got a tall, slender frame, which he likes to use to help lean up on defenders. Does play a little bit of a hold up role at times, but more than anything, he's got that long, slender frame to get him behind as he's pacey. Really, really good in the transition. He's a player who struggles with his finishing, like Richarlison and Solanke. And like earlier we said, I'd compare him to Premier League players. If anybody's not watched him, he's like Nico Jackson. Very good. He can pick up the ball in wide areas. Some of his best attributes is his link-up plays, ability to do little 1-2s, run off the back of players, dribble with the ball at his feet. Like J Spurs highlighted, he's a very, very good dribbler of the ball at his feet. He can actually run at players. And if you look at what he brings to our game, it's everything that our other strikers don't. It's the on-the-ball ability. It's the question marks that he's going to give defenders, but also he's good in the air. He scores quite a few headers. His movement is pretty good. So I'll be honest. I think he's an upgrade on what we currently have. Looking back on it a little bit more, he's a player who, in his career, he has had times where he's struggled, but he's also come back. And at the moment, he's in a year of confidence. In 2025, he's played 19 games for Juventus and scored 11 goals. So he's a player who's in a bit of form right now, feeling himself, was expected to make that move to Juve, but is now at Spurs and in a World Cup year is looking to prove himself, looking to get that time where he can build up himself to potentially be a starter for France like he was a few years ago in the World Cup after that season at Frankfurt. So we saw in that season at Frankfurt, his link-up play got like 15 assists, 16 goals. So he's going to contribute there. And coming into the Spurs team, I just think he's, like I said, he's going to bring us something that we don't have. So for me, good signing. It's a loan, risk-free in that sense. But at the same time, if he does bang, then Spurs may not be able to keep him because we're not going to pay the money that's wanted for him. So it's a bit of a oxymoron of some sense because some people, as like Ash, wanted to have an option in there. Some people are fine about not having an option in there. I'm one of the ones that's fine about not having an option in there because I think the striker market may improve next year, depending. We can see how it plays out. but I'm willing to give Kolo Muani this year a chance. So I'd say this signing for me, 7 out of 10 signing. I think it fills a hole that we need, a gap in the squad that we don't currently have. You know, his type of profile, his type of archetype of player is different to what we have. He's good in the link up, and yeah, like I just feel like he's an upgrade on Richarlison and Solanke. To be honest, I think Richarlison and Solanke both have their attributes that they're better than him at. And Richarlison has some things that he's decent, really good at, and Solanke has some things that he's really good at. But I think his overall game, Kolo Muani is going to bring more for us. So for me, a 7 out of 10 signing for Muani. So far, got Takai as a 6, Palhinha at a 9, and I think an 8. We said we're going to go with an 8. I keep changing my mind with that one. It's an 8 or 9. Like, Palhinha's like, I really like it, but I don't want to push it too much. Like, I like it, but I don't want to go too much. So we got Palhinha at 8, and then Kolo Muani as a 7. But let me know you guys' thoughts in the chat. What is Kolo Muani? How much out of 10 are we rating this signing? Kolo Muani, what are we saying? 30 likes is disgraceful, people. I ain't even been checking the likes, yeah. But if we're not on 50 likes, you know what? We're on 37 likes, you know what that means? This is what we're going to start doing. We're going to go to a commercial break. Bro, man, just run ads. Man, just run ads if the man them can't get the likes up, fam. You know them one there, man are just gonna run ads, fam. Man are just gonna run bare ads, fam. We can't get the likes up. Now, honestly, is that what man will do? Go to commercial breaks, fam. Is that what I'm gonna have to start doing to get the likes up? I'm gonna start running up bare ads, bro. I'm just gonna run up ads, bro. I'm gonna get the longer one. Watch, I'm gonna get the longer one. So when it starts telling you guys, you know, hey guys, welcome. That's what we're gonna start doing. Likes, and then I'm just gonna start running ads. I'm gonna start running ads. We don't even get content. Man, is not watching content no more. Like, you're not enjoying the content. Oh, you don't need to enjoy it. We just run up ads. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? But who do you think is a better player, Kolo or Richarlison? Kolo. Kolo's the better player than Richarlison. Better all-round player, Kolo. Who's the better striker? We'll see who scores more goals. But he's Richarlison and Solanke combined. That's a good way to put it. He's very similar. Like, he's got attributes that they both have. But if Richie stays fit and gets service, he'll bang more than Dominic. So unlucky. And Rwanda, Congo. The names people are coming up with. Randal Kolo Muani. Yeah, Randal Kolo Muani. Yeah, you don't know them tunes people yet. Randal Kolo Muani. That's going to be the new one. It's not super lit. Randal Kolo Muani. Solid 7 considering the timing. Yeah, I think it's a 7. Muani is a 7. He might feel like an 8 because of how poor Richie and Solanke have been overall. That's a great point, Adam. He might feel a little piece better because of how bad they have been sometimes. Like, Richie and Solanke have their good games, but how bad they can get, it will make Kolo Muani look so much better. Streets are saying Spurs have a better attack than Chelsea and Arsenal. No, we're getting mad. Given the context, it's a 9 or 10 out of 10, mainly because you look at the last day of the window. Solanke is gone for a while, so who can you realistically bring in? You could say that, but a 10 out of 10, you need to be a really, really good player, man. Like, for me, we'll get round to it. Solid 7, considering the timing. Yeah, definitely an upgrade on Solanke and Richie. So 7/8, facts. Muani 7 seems right, low risk, high reward if it works. Facts. But let's get to at least 50 likes. We're 2 likes away, so the people are going to get that. Big up, man. Let's get that at least done. It's a 75 like one for this stream, really. People do know it's a 75 likes on this stream. But we'll get there. We got plenty of time to build up into that. So we got Kolo Muani. Randal Kolo Muani. Yeah? He's been rated 7 out of 10. It's got Muani 7, Palhinha 8, Takai 6. I'm moving on to the players that we have actually spent some big money on. We've spent that money on. I think the first player, we can only start with the first one that came in. Man like Mohammed Kudus, for me, is a player who brings everything that we've been on. Like, he's a Spurs player. He is a Spurs player. He brings us everything that I've known for a Spurs player to have: flair, creativity, moments of magic, that quality in the final third, the ability to make something from nothing. That is what I've always known a Spurs winger to be. As I've grown up, I grew up on Bale. Even when I was really young, like Ginola, Anderton, like these are the types of players when I was in nappies I'd be watching. I'll be watching Premier League years, watching these guys back. Watching, like I said, Bale, Lennon, watching some of these other stars. Like we've always had wingers that create, wingers that have that star power to them. And when I look at Kudus, he is so damn good. So damn good. He's got a nice, like you say there, J Spurs, perfect blend of physicality and technical ability. He's somebody who plays very similar to, and you know, he's an African winger. He's P&P, pace and power. You look at Lookman, you look at Iwobi, you look at Traore, you look at you look at all of the African wingers we have that are stars right now. Yeah, they're all pace and power. He has that pace and power, but then the technical ability and the flair to add to it. You can tell that he's been bred through that Ajax team, the Ajax Academy, come through there, and just looks like he fits at Tottenham. On that right wing, he's probably our most dangerous attacking outlet. You could just leave him on that side to just run rings around defenders, run up and down the line. And the one thing that surprised me more than anything, you know, for West Ham, a lot of people spoke about his work rate and how not hard working he was last season. He looks like he works his absolute socks off for us. And in games like the Burnley one, but in particular the Man City one, when Porro was struggling defensive, he's getting back there and defending and putting in that work. Even against Bournemouth game, there was times when he's running back there trying to help Porro defend against Kudus, against Semenyo. But at the same time, he did struggle sometimes. I'm not going to lie. He definitely struggled at times. Semenyo had got him. But again, at the same time, he's still able to find that balance between how much he needs to attack and how much he needs to defend. So Kudus is a top player. He comes into our team with an expectation to really take us to the next level, really hit his prime. You know, £55 million. Looking around at the window, and who else has been signed for that price? You've had Gittins go for 50 million. You've had Elanga go for 55 million. Johan Wissa go for 55 million. Nico Jackson go for 60 million. You've got so many other players. Cunha go for 65 million. Got so many other players that have gone for more money or gone for the same or in and around the same money that are nowhere near of his quality. So just for the price of this deal, for the price that we got in, the player that we got, the age that we got, the signing of the player, for what we need, the boxes and the boxes that it ticks, Kudus has got to be a 9 out of 10 signing minimum. It's got to be a 9 out of 10 signing. It's got to be a 9 out of 10 signing. Literally that, Adam. He's better than most of the players that was in his role. He's better than most of the players that was in his role. Most of the right wings that are available. I don't look at any other right wingers in the league and say, yeah, I wanted him instead. Early on in the window, it might have been Mbomo, because I think Mbomo's a bit cleaner in front of goal. Plus, he's got that familiarity with Thomas Frank. But I'll be real. Like, as a player, to watch on the eye, I prefer Kudus. So I would happily take Kudus over Mbomo at this point. Happily. So gotta be a 9 out of 10. It's gotta be a 9 out of 10, bro. Like anything, but if anybody's got it below an 8, I'm questioning how you don't rate this guy. Like we needed Kudus years ago, but at the same time, I'm looking forward to seeing Kudus over the next couple of years grow as a player into this Spurs team, become the face of Tottenham, or potentially the guy next to the face of Tottenham, because we're gonna get on to who the face of our club might be over the next couple of years. Kudus, though, 9 out of 10 signing. It's got to be a 9 out of 10 signing. The fact we got him away from West Ham as well. We got him away from West Ham. Come on, like, that's a 9 out of 10 all by itself, bruv. That's a 9 out of 10 all by itself. We got him away from West Ham. We got him away from the scum for 55 million change. They're lucky we didn't come and get Paqueta. Like, I can't lie though. What Paqueta done with that was cold. That was cold. And you know the cheek? You know the cheek of Fabrizio? He posted the video and said, what? Lucas Paqueta sends a message to the West Ham fans, or sends a message. Somebody clearly don't get the message. The message was for you. It was for you, Fabrizio. You fraud. Putting out, oh, here we go, expected soon. Aston Villa progressing in talks. All of this, you know, he's doing up PR, trying to make it seem like a deal's almost done. He's been absolutely mudded this window. Fabrizio has been absolutely mudded this window. Time and time again, and here we go means nothing. And now here we go means nothing. It just means the clubs are, you know, they're close to agreeing a fee. They've not actually agreed stuff. Not actually agreed. But here we go means fuck all. Because, yeah, man, like, Fabrizio confirmed on a lot of these stories. And I've been on his neck. Pause, but I've been on his neck. So, yeah, man, look. 9 out of 10 signing. Kudus. Still done. Can't go wrong. And moving on to the last player. The last one that we got. The 51.2 or 51.6 or 60 million pound signing, because including the add-ons. We got to include the add-ons. The 60 million pound star. Man like Xavi Simons. Yeah? Xavi Simons. That's what we're on. Xavi Simons is a 10 out of 10 signing. A 10 out of 10 for a number 10. Not going to lie. This is the signing. This might be the signing of the window away from Isaac. Because Isaac's just 125 million pound of stardom. But this might be the signing of the window. My number one target going into this window. My number 110. When I just spoke about the franchise player, the face of Tottenham for the years to come, Xavi Simons is exactly that. He's exactly that. He's going to bring us all the qualities that you get between a Madison Kulu, you know, a ball carrier, a guy that likes to shoot from far, a guy who's always going to pick it up in the half space, turn and drive with the ball, try to create. Most of his actions come in the final third. People talk about what went wrong in Bournemouth. He solves those problems in that game because you now have a midfielder that drops in deep to get on the ball. And as soon as he gets on it, he's looking up, trying to play balls forward. If he can't play a pass, he's going to run at players. And he's somebody who's got the arrogance and confidence to run through a team and take that shot from 25 yards out. He's got a great shooting ability, and he loves to take a long-range shot, something that we've missed at Spurs for a long time. Since we haven't had the Modrics, the Van der Vaarts, the Ericssons, we've been missing a player that loves to take those little punts from 30 yards. And this is a player that's going to bring that. He can play on the left wing. He can play in the 10. So when people say you need a left winger, we potentially have a solution at home in the player that we've signed because he's versatile. A lot of his minutes have came on the left wing as opposed to in the 10. But I think his best football will be played in the 10. He solves a lot of the problems that we've had in pre-season in playing Sarr in the 10. We sort of lack that midfield creator, the natural creator, somebody who can get on the ball and make things happen. And he does that all game, all window, all season, sorry. That's exactly what you expect from him, to get on the ball and just create. I think he's someone who would easily adapt to the league. I know a lot of people have mentioned his small, nimble frame, but he's someone who's strong. You look at his goal against England in the Euros, shifted Declan Rice onto the floor before wrapping it into the top bins. Somebody who has a low center of gravity and has always been a star. When we talk about star signings, this is the type of signing where you could it's probably going back to Van der Vaart, the last time we had a signing of this quality that's coming straight into the team and really being that prime creator, that new nucleus for our team. He is that. Honestly, I think for me, this is the best signing of our window and the best signing we've had in a long time. Really, really excited to see this player at a Tottenham, in Tottenham team. Champions League proven. He's played at the Champions League level multiple times for PSV, Leipzig. And he's somebody who's he's ready. He's ready to take that next step in his career. He's ready to compete, and he's ready to really be the face of a club now. Because somebody who's been followed since 12, 13, being captain at La Masia. Remember, he was the original wonder kid. You know, maybe after Odegaard, because I think he's slightly younger than Odegaard. You know, you had Odegaard who went to Real Madrid at 16, was lighting up and made that big move. Xavi Simons at the same time was just lighting up Barcelona academy. A kid with long curly hair, with an afro. He was captain in Barcelona, and he's just doing things. The first generation of kids you're seeing are just doing mad skills. They got that arrogance about their game at such a young age, and they just look like they're going to be stars. And his career has been very stellar. I reckon he's made a lot of the right moves rather than going straight to the top, which he did. You know, went to PSG, then got loaned out or got sold to PSV, then brought back, then loaned to Leipzig, and then brought back before being sold to Leipzig to then come over to us. Sort of had the right teams that help you make the right moves and the right steps at the right time. You know, PSV, Eredivisie, first senior year as a player, he goes over there and absolutely tears it up. I think he got like 19 goals, 14 assists. He got some mad numbers. People can check the numbers specifically. And I know Chelsea fans keep coming in and they go, oh, yeah, your number 10 used to clean Madueke's boots. I don't think people have actually looked at the stats of that season, but that was Xavi's team. As much as he was the new player, as much as he might have been cleaning boots, they done the little bro thing because they knew on the pitch they couldn't little bro him. He was the best player in that team. Carried them that season. Whoa, what happened? Oh, we're back. Carried them that season, and you just need to go look at the numbers. Went to Leipzig, and again, sort of became their nucleus, the main number 10, the main creator in their team. And although they have a lot of young stars there at the same time, I think he was the one that really stood out for me. You know, you had Sesko, Openda, and a few other players there, but some of them, I don't really rate. I'm just being honest. I don't really rate them. Xavi Simons, for me, is the number 10 signing. And when you look at, you know, the players we missed out on, Morgan Gibbs-White, he's better than it. I'm telling you now, he's better than Morgan Gibbs-White, like clear of Morgan Gibbs-White. Eze, I think he's better than Eze. But I'd say right now, Eze's more Premier League proven, and Eze might give you more quality and consistency. But that's something that's been missing from Eze's game, even at Crystal Palace. So how good and how consistent he is, let's see it at Arsenal. I think Xavi Simons would be the best signing of the three of those. And I don't feel wrong in thinking that. I didn't even... Jay, you said it. At the start of the window, I thought it was a possibility. At the very start of the window. Then we saw, oh, he's agreed terms with Chelsea. And I was like, you know what? Forget about Xavi. That's why I never mentioned Xavi Simons. I never really mentioned him in a lot of my transfer videos because I was like, why am I going to keep sitting here dreaming about a player that we can't get? It's just pointless. So we looked at Nico Paz. We looked at Roger. We looked at all these other players. But he was, if anybody goes, watch, go back to this is the last Tottenham transfer news. Yeah. Go back to the first Tottenham transfer news show where I compared Eze, Cherki, and Simons. Because we were looking at 10s. We looked at all three of these players, three players that have all made a move in this window. Man City's 10, Arsenal's 10, Spurs is now 10. I compared the three, and I said at the time, Xavi Simons is the favorite player. He might not be the best, but he's my favorite player of the three. So I didn't even think it was a possibility, and I'm more than happy with this signing. So for me, a 10 out of 10 signing, bro. This is a 10 out of 10 signing. And looking at overall, so we got 10 out of 10 Xavi Simons. We've got Kolo Muani, 7 out of 10. Palhinha, 8 out of 10. Kudus, 9 out of 10. Shit. Pretty damn good. And then Takai, 6 out of 10. For me, this gives me an overall 7.5 out of 10 window. 7.5 out of 10 window. I think to make it an 8 or a 9, to make it an 8, it would have been another centre back. We got a centre back of some proven quality that would have pushed it up to an 8. If we got the left winger, Savinho, Lookman, any of those type of players, it would have been a 10 out of 10 window. It would have been a 10 out of 10 window because to get 5 players of first team quality in one window is very strong. But to then add a centre back of that quality as well to come into the backup, that would have made it even like that would have been my 10 out of 10 window. So I've got 7.5 out of 10. I've got 7.5 out of 10. So for me, good window. We've solved a lot of the issues that we had last season. Could it have been better? 100%. But one thing people have to remember is always going to look back on a window and think that it could have been more. You're always going to look back on a window and think that you could have done better. But overall, we solved a lot of our issues. And we just got to be happy with that. We generally just got to be happy with the fact that we solved a lot of our problems. And it's a good window. It is a good window. It has been a good window. A lot of people were emotional yesterday, me including, but people trying to make it seem like it's a bad team. They've lost. They're lost. Well, Durag, we need to see tonight. We are going to submit the Champions League squad. If Solanke isn't there or Kulu, you will know they'll be gone for a long time. That's a fact. Kulu, I think, could be the one that misses out, but I hope he didn't. Let me come down. What would you rate the Tottenham tie window? I just gave you there 7.5 out of 10, man. Give him give Xavi the keys to the team for real. 9.5 if he proves it in the Prem quickly, which I think he will instantly turns into a 10 out of 10 signing for me. Facts, Adam. Kudus is one stop. Your delusion, bro. This guy's someone today. Plus, Xavi Simons had to deal with the spotlight his whole life. He's gonna cook. I know this. That's a fact. If Levy wants to win titles, like he said, then you have to hit the ground running. This transfer window was good, but not good enough. I want to see him get at least one top signing in January. Winman. That's fair, Finn. I think it's a fair point. Ben scored Bergvall Xavi for next game, please. Hi. I did say that myself. I said that'll be a midfield that I'm waiting to look forward to. We signed 4 players that are Champions League proven, 4 players that improve our first 11, 4 players that are in the positions that we needed, 4 players that are top quality. So for me, we had a good window, 7.5. Same as me, Tottenham logic. Same as me, bro. We literally had the exact same 4 players that we needed, 4 profiles that we needed, 4 Champions League proven, and 4 players that can start in our team. Can't go wrong there. Has to be a 7.5 out of 10 window. Good morning to Drula, our fellow Spurs Mo. What are you saying for this window? What are your thoughts? We also had early on Tony Rodriguez, 6 out of 10 window. Always 2 players short. We haven't replaced Sonny and Van de Ven and Van de Ven or Romero. We haven't replaced Sonny, and if Van de Ven or Romero gets injured, we are cooked. Levynomics. I hear you, Tony. I hear you. Huddle Waddle. From what we can expect from Spurs, it's easy. An 8 out of 10 window. 4 players that go straight into the starting 11. That's what I'm saying, Huddle Waddle. You can't complain. 4. And then Levy outs. It's not a terrible window, but not excellent. But I like how we prioritized quality over quantity. 7 out of 10 for me. Are you now Levy in? Are you now Levy in? Big up to Raf in the building. What are you saying, bro? I hope you're good. We got Kenga saying he was the original OG rising baller poster boy. His name gave him some hype, but he has made moves in big clubs, so why not? Only 22. Look at the age profile of our midfield besides Ben's called Palhinha. It looks really strong, man. Young midfield. He's the best 10 that we could have got a start from the window. No jokes. That's the thing. Lords, I agree. He's better than them. Facts. Lords. Man said Lords. Crazy. I didn't even think Xavi was... Yeah, 100%. I think Xavi has more flair than Eze. 100%. Way more flair than Eze. He's got that La Masia about him, innit? Like, bro, Barcelona's academy, of course. He's grown up with flair. Man grown up watching Messi and them, man. Suarez, Busquets, Iniesta. Like, he grown up around this. So, definitely more flair than Eze. My favorite transfer. I remember start of the window, George wanted him the most. See, Raf knows it's my transfer, man. Really happy to have Xavi. I just hope that he isn't wasted on the left side. Should be a 10 all day long. 6 out of 7 for me. 7 out of 10 overall for me. I want the numbers, George. You got them now. 7.7 and 7.5 out of 10 window. Xavi saved our window, to be honest. What the stats to support the 10 rating for Simons? What stats do you want? What stats do you want? Do you want the numbers? Like his actual stats of what he's had as a player? I can get those numbers up. It's not a problem. Let's get those numbers up because people think that I'm just gassing them up. That's what it is. People now think that I'm just gassing them up about a player. We'll get the numbers up. Don't worry. Well, don't you worry about that, yeah? Don't you worry about that because this is a player. I know a lot of the numbers, but I'm not gonna say them wrong because you're gonna say, "Oh, you said the numbers wrong." I did say about Xavi, yeah. If I was at 7.5, what is those lot down the roads window then, George? If you're talking about Arsenal, then I'm not being funny. They've got nearly two. They got 2 centre backs, 2 midfielders, 2 wingers, and a striker, and a goalkeeper. Theirs has got to be a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 window, bro. They've got 8 positions, 2 players in each position. Like 2 defenders, 2 midfielders, and 3 attackers. Bro, it's got to be a 10 out of 10 window for them, innit? Like, it's got to be, really. You got Eze, you got Gyökeres, you got Madueke, then you got Norgard, you got Zubimendi, and then you got Mosquera and Hincapie. Like, 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 window, surely. Almin's got a 7 out of 10 window. Star Crow's got a 7 out of 10 window for me. The ambition was there. Can't complain. The ambition was there. Xavi has a much better work rate than Eze too. So that's what I mean. 7 out of 10 window, in my opinion. Kolo Muani, pon your head top. We're free from Richie. Takai, Paulinho, Kudus, Xavi, Muani. That's decent first team starters. 7.5 for me. 4 months till the January window opens, and hopefully we can get some more done. 10 out of 10, Muani has arrived. 10 out of 10, my chairman, Xavi Simons. Yeah. And on the Xavi Simons, yeah, because I know people wanted to understand what's his numbers like. So just this season, he played 2 games, got on a goal in the DFB Cup, in the game against DFB Cup against Bayern Munich. Leipzig versus Bayern Munich in the DFB Cup. He got a goal and assist in that game just this season, just to throw it out there. And again, what do the numbers look like in his previous seasons? We'll go through. Let me share my screen. I don't know why I'm not sharing the screen. Could look at some of the Xavi Simons numbers. You know, we'll go through all the signings numbers. That's what we'll do. We're going to go through all the signings numbers so we can see if the data backs up my thoughts of these signings, and some of you guys can have a look if you guys haven't already had a look into what he's going to bring. Let me just let's do that one. There we go. So in last season, as we can see here, let me zoom in slightly so that you guys can see everything clearly. Last season, as I said, a lot of his minutes were played on the left wing. 16 games on the left wing, 15 down the middle. His numbers to look at just overall, you got 33 games, 11 goals, 8 assists, 10 and 25 in the league. And yeah, look, you can see there, man. Like, he had an injury slightly for quite a bit, like a month of last season. But away from that, constantly contributing goals and assists on the board. And he had not one of his best seasons at Leipzig. I will say that wasn't one of his best seasons. The injury did interrupt his season, and he has had better years prior. So we will see that going through. This season was a very strong one for him. This is his first season at Leipzig, where he got 8 goals in the league, 13 assists, 32 games played. And he was across again, more on the wings again. So you got him 23 games on the left, 17 games on the right, 5 and 7 on the left, 5 and 5 off the right, and then just 3 assists in attacking midfield in the 2 games that he played there. So again, you can see a lot of his minutes have come on the wings. where I think at Spurs, he's going to be used more straight centrally down the pipe. And then this season, a few years ago, the one that I was talking about, the Eredivisie, was his most impressive one of his career, I suppose. It was his first one and his most impressive one. As I said, 19 goals, 8 assists, 22 and 11 all competitions. A lot of his games came in the middle. So you got 17 games down the middle. And as you can see, an attacking midfield, 11 goals, 4 assists in the 17 games that he did play there. But again, a lot of minutes on the left wing and a few on the right. And some that say centre forward, I think he played behind the striker in that role. So you can see there. And then obviously prior to this season, I don't think there will be much data because I'm pretty sure he played PSG's. He played PSG. He did play some games for the first team, 6 games for Liga 1. But a lot of his games are played at the UEFA Youth League, and he played sort of in their youth setup with Odegaard at the time. So, Agent Odegaard may have had some say in trying to bring him over here, as well as Mickey van der Ven. But him and Odegaard did play at the PSG academy together. And I suppose he would have just left PSG as Kolo Muani came there. So he wouldn't have had no crossover with Kolo Muani. But we could look at let's look at Kolo Muani. Oh wait, I have to go on that one. Oh. Kolo Muani. On to Kolo. On to Kolo. We can look at some of his numbers. Covered Madison Kulu with Kudus and Xavi Simons will be good competition when they're all fit. Muani better than Richie Solanke. Palhinha is our best DM instantly. 8 out of 10. I hear you all there, Sfase. That's a good point. 7 out of 10 for THFC. Hoff. 7 out of 10 for LJ. Mace, these men are still moaning. They need a left winger. As for us, it's 6.5 out of 7. 6.5 or 7 for me, just because we took long with Eze, Morgan, Gibbs White, and Savinho. Them man are just still crying, I'll be real, bro. They've got a lot of players. Hopefully, Xavi's relationship with Odegaard will help them both, and Kolo Muani doing French connection. Odegaard and Tel might cook. See, that's what I was thinking about. Odegaard and Tel could potentially cook next to a proper number 10 that creates space for them. But where's this little... I hate when this does this. Let's go current season. Let's start off this year, 21-22. We're going to work our way forward. We're going to work our way forward to have a look at some of the numbers so you guys can see. Again, very versatile. 30 games there, some games on the left, some games on the right. This was when he was playing for Nantes FC or FC Nantes. I'm not really too sure. I think it's Nantes, how you promote it. Not the word that you man are thinking of, but that one. This FC Nantes, yeah? So, as we can see here, first season, 12 goals, 5 assists in just 36 games. Pretty decent. It's nothing too crazy, scoring goals. As a striker, you want a guy that's scoring you at least 10 goals minimum in the league a season. And he done that as a young player, scoring 12 in his first year at FC Nantes. Then moving forward, had a very big move over to Frankfurt and had his best season his best season in his career till this date still. 32 goals, 32 games, 15 goals, 14 assists. Again, he's not a 20-goal season striker. He's never really going to get you 20 goals. But what he will get you is a decent amount of goals, but some assists. His link-up play is where he really thrives. 23 goals, 17 assists. He had some of the best numbers in Europe at that time for the striker, which really pushed him into getting into that World Cup team this year and being one of the mainstays in that French team where they lost the World Cup to Argentina. 46 games, 23 goals, very good return. And as you see there, most of his goals came when he just played at centre forward that season. Onwards from there is when he sort of really started to struggle, because he had his first season at PSG where it just really wasn't good for him. His first season at PSG was poor. 26 games in the league, 6 goals, 5 assists. Again, played a lot of those minutes up front, so didn't really have the excuse that he's being shifted out on the wing. So he did play up front, but when he was playing up front, just wasn't really giving them what they needed. Now, this is a time of transition for PSG when Luis Enrique, I believe, had just come in. I believe it was Luis Enrique's first season when he had Mbappe and co. And he was still trying to work out how he's going to piece this team together. So Muani was competing with Mbappe for minutes up top, but also a few other players, and just wasn't the player that really worked for him in that system. So look, he did have decent numbers in some of the other, Frankfurt, he scored in his one game. In the DFB Cup, he scored. Qualifiers, he scored. French Cup, he scored. Champions League was really poor. In the Champions League this year. But this was just a bad year for him overall. He lost a lot of confidence that year, and then made the move this year, halfway through the season, where he played half of this season at PSG. So you'll see here 10 games, 2 goals. But in those 10 games, he only really played 350 minutes. So if you actually look here, he was a player that come on as a sub. Where is it? There's so many little bits. Played his 350 minutes. Look, you can see here was played in this amount of games, where he was only getting 21 minutes, 16 minutes, 19 minutes. Didn't really get game time under Luis Enrique. He realized at this point this wasn't a player that he really liked. So got shipped out. And in the Serie A is really where he started to perform for Juventus. 16 games, 8 goals, 1 assist. When you actually look at the minutes into him at Juventus, again, he got in the Club World Cup, played those 3 games, scored the 2 goals against FC Al Ain, and then got the goal again, an assist against FC Wydad. But for Juventus in total, I got a lot of minutes. Started off really hot. That's one thing a lot of people say. He's a streaky striker, so he can score goals, then he disappears for a bit, and then he scores goals. And you can see that here, because look, you got a goal, got two. Didn't really do too much in between then, and eventually got dropped to the bench due to these performances, though their team wasn't performing amazingly in the games. Got dropped to the bench before working his way back into the team, got started again against Parma, played, he was in a shadow striker role, and then scored against Monza, and then Lazio on end of the season with another goal. So had a pretty decent loan spell. Wasn't amazing, wasn't pulling up trees, but was pretty damn okay. So when you look at the player, again, he's not the striker that comes in and is like, yeah, we go to the next level. He's going to lead us to the Champions League or lead us to a trophy. He's not that player. He's not. And if anybody thought he was going to be that, I'm here to tell you, don't get your hopes up. But he's a player who gets decent goals. He's a player who can bring you link up. And he's a player who, when you look at it, all round brings us more than what Richarlison and Solanke does. So he's pretty decent. But he will not pull up trees. And that's why I only gave it a 7 out of 10 signing. This could easily be an 8 if he outperforms or exceeds our expectations. But again, it could easily be a 5 because it was a panic signing. What I would say his expectation is going into the season, because I expect him to play a lot of minutes, is I want a minimum, all competitions, 15 goals. I know that's pretty much his best season in his career was 15 goals. But I want 12 to 15 goals in all competitions and at least 5 to 8 assists. 5 to 8 assists. I want a player that proves to me this is why we made this signing, a player that comes into our team and does have the required impact. And that is me being very hopeful. Very hopeful. But let me know what your expectation would be of Kolo Muani, considering, looking at these numbers, looking at what you expect of him, with the limited information that you have. What's the expectation on him? Kane's playing against France, hit the International Space Station low. What about Muani and Kudus and Xavi front four will cook? It could do. How's loan work? Can we buy him if he plays well? Because I think he's miles clear of Dom and Richie. We can, but we don't have the option to. We have to negotiate that at the end of the loan. We have to negotiate new terms. So perhaps we're going for a hard striker next year or something. Maybe the return of Harry Kane. Maybe the return of Harry Kane, people, because he might be available next season on a release clause. Who knows? Muani is the stopgap before Kane comes back. Yeah, look, as you said it there. So y'all telling me Galatasaray have a front three of Lookman? I didn't even see. Did Galatasaray get Lookman? I did expect that move to happen because I know Lookman wants to get out of Atlanta. But if Galatasaray have a front three of Lookman, Sane, and Osman, yeah. Hey, I've got the guy at my local shop who's a Galatasaray fan. He keeps telling me, I want Spurs in the draw. I want Spurs in the draw. We obviously didn't get them. But I'm slightly glad we didn't get them, yeah, because if they come up against us with this front three, dangerous, bro. Like this is not this is not a team that you want to take lightly. They're not a team that you want to take lightly. Kane has come back. No, I don't know. It's not on a free. We'd have to buy him next year, but I'm pretty sure he's got a release clause next year. I'm pretty sure. When Kulu returns, Xavi Kudus, Muani can cook. George's got your contract for Dagenham Redbridge. Hey, send it through, PFC. Send it through. We're going to need some new contracts. As you can see, we do have contracts in place. We've got sponsorships. We've got 91 people inside. The likes right now are on 61 likes, which is 68, sorry. It's all right. Should be on 75 likes right now. We do have a sponsorship on the channel now. And I need you guys to show your support for the sponsor. Yeah, show your support. Scan the QR code next to me. Match, bingo, have some fun. Play your game during the matches. The special offers they have involved for the international break this week. Promo code DRD to get a 200% depository bonus. And you can buy your match bingo card to have some fun during the game, man. When you're putting on a bet, build a game. Now, you're too invested in your bet. Match bingo, you just buy a bingo card for a couple quid. You buy yourself a couple bingo cards. They put the random events on there, and you can just have some fun. Whether I need a goal in the 9th minute, or you need a throw in, or I need a goal kick. And it's just random match events that they put on the bingo card. So it just gives you a little bit of fun to play whilst you're playing the game. You can scan that QR code next to me. But I was going to get on to, I know we've had a longer stream today, but it's fine. It's fine. You know, last transfer news show, we're trying to get through everything. Is lineup 11. Wanted to go through some of the lineups and potential ways that we could see Spurs set up this team. I wanted to go through how we could potentially see our setup for this season. Just ignore the players in here because, as you can see, this website is quite old in the point of they still have Wanyama, Eriksson, and some of these older players in their positions. It's mad. But we're going to go through and we're going to put the players in there, see the depth that we have in these positions, and see how this could play out for the season. So let's look at this. So lineups that we could see. Let's just go Vicario. Or let's do my ideal lineup. Let's say how we want to set up against West Ham. Yeah. Romero. Van der Ven. Porro. Spence. Bentancur. Then we'll go no, I'm gonna be realistic. But you know, I'm gonna go with Tell. I'm gonna go with Tell for now. I'm gonna go with Tell. Let's just remove that. What do we think of this lineup, people? This could be a lineup that we potentially see. Hold on, let me just... What are we thinking of this lineup? See, because this is what I'm looking at, yeah. And I think this has got a nice balance. We've got Porro and Spence on the wings, who do a very good job in their fullback roles. But we also have the option of potentially playing a Spence and then putting a Dogie in there. So we could have Spence on one side of Dogie. This is the lineup that I would like to see and how I'd like to see us set up against West Ham in particular. I think Bentancur in the deep line playmaker role, especially against teams that we're going to have a lot more of the ball. I think we should play Bentancur in the 6 with Sarr next to him, because Sarr's going to be the legs, still pressing high up through these areas and still sweeping in a lot of this area. But his ability to cover ground and cover all that space in midfield, be the box-to-box that we need, good defensively, good in the attack, not amazing on the ball, but now has someone like Xavi next to him who can create. I think you start to see the best of Sarr's qualities. So I'd go with Sarr slightly in front of Bentancur in the 8, Bentancur in the 6, Xavi in the 10. And what I would expect, and a lot of people should know, if you've watched Xavi, is you'll see Xavi a lot of the time will take up areas on this side of the pitch. He's more of a left-sided player and likes to operate in these half spaces. So he'll drop in a bit deeper, pick up the ball in the area over here. Also, when he wants to receive the ball, if he's receiving it higher up in the pitch, he'll look to receive it in this area rather than on the touchline, because even if he does play on the wing, he likes to operate in these middle areas. So I'd expect to see him operate in a lot of this area, picking out from here and transitioning it, whether it's across the field ball to Kudus or whether it's playing it through the lines to a potential overlap of Spence. Because I think in the attack, what we'd expect to see a lot of the times is Xavi in this area and having the options of potential Spence and Tell in front of him covering that space. And, you know, you have Van der Ven push up, Sarr, Bentancur push up, and some of these players into these types of areas. But that overlap is going to be key, because now you're creating an option for another pass, and you create the 2v1 on the fullback, having Spence over here, Tell occupy this space, and then Xavi, you know, roaming in between the lines. So for me, I like to see Xavi in that area, but I'm also interested to see what we could do if you throw a Xavi out there and you bring a Bergvall in here. Because if you bring Bergvall into the middle, you throw Xavi onto the left. This is what I'm talking about. Just solutions, yeah. Because we could go with a midfield like this. We could change our midfield route, and you could go Palhinha. Oh. And doing this, we literally got a whole completely different type of setup in the midfield. You play a Bentancur slightly a forward now, and you've got Bergvall. You still got Xavi in here. You still got Xavi in here in this little space. But where he's going to be, you might push Spence slightly higher up. Now you've got 2 more DMs. Push Porro slightly more forward. And you can now play one of these players here, Palhinha, sitting in between. And you've got your 2 centre-backs quite high with a back 3. And then, look, you're sort of playing with a similar formation to this. You've got Xavi operating in the inside area. You still have Kudus holding a lot of the width on the right-hand side. And you got Bergvall carrying through the line. So I'm actually really interested to see how this could set up with Bergvall in the middle. Bergvall in the 10 with Xavi ahead. I think that we could see... I think we could see the best of him. Richie left wing. I'd rather have Odegaard or Richarlison off the left. I don't know about that. I'm interested to see how Xavi could impact off left, but we could also do this. Let me just get to swapping around, because we generally have so many solutions. Like I'm looking at this and I'm going, all right. So let's just say we want to play Richie. We could go Muani over here, Richarlison over here. and you still go with a strong midfield to Bentancur, Xavi, Muani, and it still looks good. It still looks good. Got Richarlison up top, Muani on the left, Xavi, Kudus, Bentancur. Like, these two are always going to hold off their position. They're always going to expect it to be in the lineup. For me, always expected. And you can swap the midfield two behind him. You could do Sarr. I don't think Sarr and Bergvall is ready just yet to start the Premier League, but in games of the Carabao Cup, we would like to see other lineups. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. As I said, you could have Odegaard out there. If you throw Odegaard out there, you've got two players who can now be more touchline wingers. You've got two touchline wingers on the team now. But then, no, this was the other one I wanted to look at. This was the other that I wanted to look at. Let's, you know what? Let's switch to a 3-4-3. And then we go, let's just say Danso. We could go Spence, Dogi. See, I'm just presenting others. Presenting other solutions. That's all I'm doing here, people. I'm just trying to see how else we could play that could make it interesting. You could do a. I do know. I'm going to leave Solanke out of these lineups because we actually don't know how long he's going to be out. We could also do a 3-4-3, people. We could also do a 3-4-3 with just 2 10s behind the striker. And this is one that I'm actually interested to see if Frank lines up. Because when you've got a midfield of Bentancur, Palhinha, you've pretty much got two players that are going to shut up shop and are not going to allow teams to get through them so easily. So if those two are breaking down the play and you've got Spence and Udogie just taking up these wide areas, drifting, Udogie who's really strong going forward on the left side. I think Spence is good going forward, but definitely better going forward on the right side because he can take it down the wing and beat his man. I'm really interested to see this potential lineup. I want to see what the front three looks like. What's this? Yeah, flat. That's better. I want to see what this 3-4-3 looks like. I know a lot of people don't like the back five, but I'm a big fan of the back five. I'm a big fan of the back five. And I'm interested, or back three, whichever way you want to put it. But I am interested to see how this plays out. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't given up on Udogie at all. I think Udogie looks really good in the front line. Really good for going forward. It's just defensively he has some questions, but that's where you go. And if you play him in a back three, his defense, he hasn't got as much defensive duties, and Van de Ven's gonna cover some of that space there. I'm not gonna lie, the front line's in sexy. Let's pause. It's interesting. What do you guys think of this? Big up Durag. I was looking at 3-4-3 last night. That looks good to me. This looks really like this for me. This could potentially be our strongest lineup. This could potentially be our strongest lineup. It depends if Frank can make this work. But if you want to take out, you know, the lack of left wing quality that we have, you know, you don't want to play Odegaard and Tell because they're not proven as of yet. You could play Xavi in a left forward. You play Kudus in a right forward. You have Muani roaming up top, being a high presser, waiting for that transition. Bro, this looks good. This looks good to me. Even if you swap out and you do same what we've seen before. You go Porro, you go Spence, and you could even go Palhinha and Sarr. You could go Palhinha and Bergvall. If you don't want to lose the ball in midfield and want to have two guys that can retain the possession, you could have Bentancur, Bergvall. Like the options in this midfield too are many. There's plenty of options. But it could be a Bergvall and Sarr. It could be a Sarr and Palhinha. It could be a Bentancur and Bergvall. It could be a Palhinha and Bergvall. That's options. And I think with the midfield too is you've got so many different types of players and combinations that you can play. I feel like Johnson is best deployed in a back five, to be honest. Johnson's just good running in behind, isn't it? In a transitional game. It depends on the team that you're going to play. Muani can play on the left as well, run on the channel, so he can he and Xavi can interchange. Yeah, you could get Xavi coming down in this middle space, and Muani taking out the wider spaces. Permutations, combinations, I see. Yeah, man, literally. I'm just really excited about this team that we have now and the different types of ways we can set up. Now we got a manager that's adaptable. I'm interested to see how he does adapt, because I see many ways of this team adapting. Like, even if we go to a 3-5-2 potentially, you could do a very similar setup. You know, you throw Paul out there, you throw Spence out there, you throw it like this. Sorry, you go like this. You could do it like this. You know, you could go a 3-5-2 where you play with a midfield 3 and you have the two, like, it's the same as the 3-4-3, but you just have Xavi pulling down in the 2. And that's how it could change to you. You could operate in a 3-5-2 as well. This could be the base formation. And then when we're attacking, you know, you push those up and it changed to this in attack. But in defense, we sit like this. Like, I really like this formation. I really like to see what we can do with this formation. And yeah, man, look, what are you guys saying? What are the man saying? What are the people in the chat saying? Yeah, what are you, man, saying? I swear down, I'm vexed. I just woke up to the realization that we're not winning a damn thing as long as my fan base backs that plague. Hot Heta, get him out my club. So City paid more for Trafford than Mighty Donna. Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. Xavi Simons will have higher GA than £160 million Verts. He might do. He might do. He's going to have more responsibility than a Verts will in this team, I'll be honest. But look, people, when our manager asked for 2 number 10s, how has the club addressed this? And finally, no left centre-back hybrid and 2 injuries away from not having adequate cover. 3 opportunist signings. What did we plan? I think Alpesh has been you sound like Lee Gunner, bruv. You sound like Lee Gunner. And a man said 3 opportunist signings. What are we talking about? 3 opportunist signings? Are you talking about, if you're including Takai, then fairs. Muani is definitely an opportunist signing. Palhinha is not an opportunist signing. I think that's just a good, smart signing. Kudus and Simons. We're going to call Simons an opportunist signing. I mean, of some sorts, you could say that, but if he was available early in the window, we would have got him. I just think he was unavailable. So, this is this is for real our strongest lineup, the 3-4-3 low. It might be. I think, do you know what? When you look at it player for player, defensive strength, what we've seen, it might be our strongest lineup, and that's why we might have wanted a left centre back so you can go to this lineup, because especially without a strong left winger, this might be the best lineup to play. This might actually be the best lineup to play. It literally, that bird mizzle, it eliminates the left wing weakness. Because even if you want to play, like I say, with a 3-4-3, you now have Xavi, who's operating as a left 10, not a left winger, but you have Spence providing the outside width, right? Or Porro providing the outside width here, who are both wing backs naturally anyway. So, hey, bro, this is it. This is it. Forest got Zinchenko. Yeah, I'll see that. Forest just signed anyone. I feel like Forest was scrambling the last day of the window and they just started signing players because you've seen them wrap up a few deals after the deadline. So we have to see. Did someone get injured? Because I've seen Ruben Loftus-Cheek has been called up for the World 2026 qualifiers. No, apparently he's just been called up. Doesn't seem why, but he's a fan of him, innit? Tuchel is a fan of Loftus-Cheek. Exclusive Durag Tactical Diaries, new show every Tuesday, 9:30 a.m. British summertime. You know what? I do actually want to do more tactics show. Obviously, it's been transfers, so not been able to get into that bag, but I do really love tactics. I do love looking at formations and ways that we can set up, ways that we can break teams down. So if I could find the right system, because I'd like to be able to add arrows and stuff like that. If anybody does know, Mr. Udang, you probably might know. If you know an actual system where I can not break down games, but, you know, actually add more stuff, have the actual lineups on the screen, you know what I mean, interactive lineup. An interactive lineup builder like this where I can add lines, you know, add a little swerve, draw on it, whatever it is, like a whiteboard type of thing. If anybody does know one, let me know, because I'll definitely be making more videos surrounding that type of stuff, because that's ultimately my bag, man. That's what I want to be doing, but we just haven't had the time. We haven't had the time. Plus, now there's no more transfer window. We've got plenty of other stuff to come, different types of videos and more content that we can actually do on the channel that's not just transfers. So make sure you're looking out for all of that stuff. Right now, the likes are on 76, which is cool. We got the like goal. Big up to everyone inside. We reached the 75 like goal for the stream. Yeah, I can't wait. 2 weeks wait for the premise. This weekend's gonna be dark. This weekend, JLA has a tactics board. James Lawrence Alcott in it. You're talking about. Let me see that one. How do I get that? It's just a website. Let's see. Yeah, how do I get it? Do I have to download it for his channel or something? How do I get that tactics board? How do I get his tactics board, people? Doesn't matter who England called. Facts. That is a facts. How I know a paid version. How much is the paid version, Mr. Udang? We're talking cheap. We're talking like £100 for the year. Then fuck off. not fuck off to you. Fuck off to them, because I'm not paying £100 a year for a tactics board. I didn't like Spurs play. Just got £50 off me for a membership. Now I've not used it since a friendly. I've not used it because I haven't had to rewatch a game. But I might rewatch Bournemouth, saying that, because a lot of people have a lot of thoughts about the Bournemouth game. So I might actually rewatch the Bournemouth game sometime today and do a breakdown on that. There is a free version. Let me know where I can find it. Let me know where I can find it, people. Where is the free version? Or where is the free version? And how much is the paid version, I suppose? But did Ekitike get a call up? The Ekitike, because I heard that he was left out. I would hope that he got a call up because he's a damn good player. In the free version, you cannot draw. I need to draw lines, man. I need to draw lines. I might just have to make my own one. I might have to somehow just make my own one. I'll have to look into it. We'll see if we can just get a fucking whiteboard, bruv. But JamesLawrenceAlcott.com. Let's have a look. Subscribe for free now. How do I get a tactics board? I'll have a look at this. I'm just gonna have to have a look in once this is done. Big up to you, Mr. Udang. I really appreciate it, my bro. Every single time, really, really appreciate it. I'll have a look at this once we've done the stream, see how it actually works, what I need to do to get this tactics board. But look, people, what I'm gonna do. Facts. You guys need to support them. Yeah, Jay. Make sure you guys are supporting. Yeah, you know, one of them ones. Just to remind you guys, for those of you that don't know already. We are now sponsored by Match Bingo. So make sure you guys are scanning that QR code, downloading the app, put a depository bonus of £200, 200%. You only have to actually put a £5 deposit in to play the game, and you'll get £15 basically on your account if you use the promo code DRD, and you buy a card for like £2. So you could just have some fun whilst you're playing. Scan that QR code, people, DRD, and make sure you sign up to Match Bingo. And yeah, man, like Jay said, we'll be running up that Match Bingo sponsor. But more than anything, we're gonna we use this. Any money we do get to reinvest into the channel. Everything that comes this way, we're trying to make things better, trying to make the setup better. Whether my camera could be better, my mic, all of this stuff is we're always gonna be putting back into the channel. So big up to everyone for the support. In the meantime, yeah, man, brown envelopes, hyper. We got brown envelopes are passed underneath the table, but I'm now a brown envelope. But the people, I am gonna send you. I got one. Oh, Mr. Udang's got one. I'll wait before I send you over. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna see what Mr. Udang's saying. We're gonna have a look. I'm gonna send you guys over to Jay though. When we are done, Hotspur Cave Jay, I'm gonna send you guys over there. Just raid him up. Let him know where you come from. You know, to tell him, you know, to make sure. Congratulations on signing. First of all, congratulations on signing, because you know Jay Muani's at his signing. And yeah, Mr. Udang, I like this one. You could do your own animations. Yo. Hey. Yeah, Mr. Udang. You know what? I'm gonna look at this one. If I need any help, I'll just DM you, Mr. Udang. I'm gonna DM you. I'll DM you about this one. It looks cold. Looks cold. But yeah, man, big up to everyone inside. Make sure you smash a like on your way out if you haven't already. Make sure you do a DRD raid and Hotspur Caves Jack. Big up to Match Bingo for being the sponsor on this video. And yeah, man, look, until next time, people, we will be live tomorrow. Make sure you're there.